2336. Representative Wingard.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Colleagues, I rise to ask your support for House Bill 2336, also known as the Farmers Market Bill. For the past year, I have served as chair of a legislative working group that was charged with creating a legal framework for the operation of farmers markets and other places where Oregon farmers sell directly to their customers. Oregon has more than 120 farmers markets and hundreds of farmers who have their own farm stands or sell boxes of produce by subscription. So you might think that the legal relationship between these farmers and the Oregon Department of Agriculture was clearly established by now. It is not, and that is largely why it took a year of work to bring this bill to you today. When farmers markets and other farm direct sales began to take off years ago, the Oregon Department of Agriculture took the common sense approach that a farmer should not need a license to sell his or her own fresh fruits and vegetables. And clearly, it didn't make sense to ask outdoor farmers markets to comply with rules about wall and floor finishings and indoor plumbing, etc. They based their judgment calls on one administrative rule pertaining to farm stands on a farmer's property. But as the number and complexity of farm direct products grew, the ODA found it more and more difficult to address the situation with policies and without clear guidance from the legislature. During the interim, our committee listened to testimony about the difficulties faced by ODA, the markets, and farmers, and created a legislative work group to address the problem. House Bill 2336 provides necessary statutory guidance on this issue with a balanced and sensible regulatory approach to direct marketing. Everyone who participated in the legislative work group worked hard to strike the right balance so as to preserve food safety, yet allow farm entrepreneurs to experiment and innovate within a range of carefully defined products. ODA, farmers markets associations, and of course the farmers who sell directly all need the certainty of knowing which products are licensed and which are not. This clarity will help everyone involved focus on getting Oregon foods safely on their way to Oregon dinner plates. And it's important to note that even though all legislative work groups involve give and take, I asked the ODA to approve each and every product included in this bill. Many products you see at farmers markets are licensed today and will stay that way under House Bill 2336. These include meat and dairy products, all baked goods, and many other processed foods that don't fit the narrow requirements we have established. Most importantly, there are no low-acid foods included, the kind that require special equipment and skills to produce safely. Beyond just produce, we found common ground on additional products like dried beans and grains that have to be cooked before you eat them. We also felt comfortable allowing farmers to dry their own fruits, vegetables, herbs, and nuts, and to crack nuts without a food processing license. With respect to pickles and preserves, the ODA has found that 17 states have similar provisions, and the number is growing. So we are not venturing into uncharted waters, colleagues. Here are some examples of similar laws from other states. In Ohio, the state has a category called cottage food production operation. Farms are allowed to produce and sell a clearly defined range of non-hazardous foods, including sorghum and maple syrup, various baked goods, jams and jellies, candy, fruit butter, dried herbs, without a license. Kentucky and Iowa similarly allow farms to produce a range of non-hazardous foods without a processing license. In 2004, Minnesota passed the Pickle Bill, which allows Minnesotans to make and sell their famous vegetable pickles as well as jams and other foods without a processing license. Following Minnesota's lead, Indiana, Michigan, Wisconsin, South Dakota have all passed laws that allow market vendors and roadside stands to sell pickle, jams, and other low-hazard foods made at home. New York, Maine, Vermont, Connecticut, and Massachusetts all have exemptions from farm-based food production. Senate Bill 5748 is currently before the Washington State Legislature. That bill would allow processing in a home kitchen, currently prohibited in Washington, require cottage food products be sold directly to the end user from the cottage food location, exempt cottage food processing and sales from licensing, and limit the annual gross sales of cottage food products to $5,000. Farm direct products are highly traceable, and there is no greater accountability than looking your customers in the eye. Farmers using these provisions will have to grow the principal ingredients and cannot commingle with another farmer's product. The farm that sells you a jar of pickles must have grown all the cucumbers in the jar and cannot supplement the product from elsewhere. Larger food producers, by their nature, have to commingle products from many farms. It's much quicker and easier to sleuth out a problem if there is just one farm to examine. But we did not stop there. We added extra labeling requirements. Containers will read, quote, "This product is homemade and was not prepared in an inspected food establishment," end quote. In addition, we added a dollar limit on the products in jars and language that ties the bill to federal safety standards, including those dealing with acidity. And ODA can withdraw this exemption in case someone refuses to ensure the condition and safety of their food to keep their sales space clean and sanitary. Colleagues, House Bill 2336 eases regulation only for a very specific set of products. Pickles and jams are made in millions of homes today and have been for thousands of years. This bill recognizes that farm direct marketers are micro-entrepreneurs. Successful businesses will outgrow the gross sales limit in this bill, and production will shift to licensed facilities. Farm direct marketing of agricultural products is a blend of business entrepreneurship and community. To the casual observer on a Saturday, it's about meeting your friends and scoring some tasty local berries. At another level, it's also about stimulating grassroots economic development, improving Oregon's food security, and providing healthy choices for Oregon families. Oregonians love our farmers, and we love our farmers' markets. Please join me in voting yes on House Bill 2336.